and welcome to another episode of the Marco Podcast.
Hello, everyone. On this week's episode, we are going to be talking about don't give up. It's amazing how, one thing can make you think about something else. This is with you all. So the other week, our dryer stopped drying. It would run, but it was just pushing out cold air. And so my husband had texted me and told me that it wasn't working. And I was just like, oh, great. Okay. So when I got home, he told me everything that he had tried to get it to work. And I put out the manual and I tried some stuff too. And nothing was working. And he was like, we're just going to have to get a new dryer. And so all I saw was just money going out the window. And I was like, no, I'm thinking we've been doing really good with saving and just not going out and spending money on unnecessary stuff. Not that a dryer is something unnecessary, but y'all know what I mean. Okay, so I consulted my bestie Google. And I Googled the make, the model, and the serial number, and I found out that it could be the heating element. So at first I'm like, a heating element? What exactly is that? Obviously the dryer needs to be heated, but is this something that's fixable or what? So then I found out exactly what the heating element was, and I was like, oh, okay. My husband was like, well, yeah, makes sense. We do use the dryer every single day. Then I found a YouTube video on how to fix it. And so next thing you know, I'm taking the dryer apart. But I went to go get my nails done that day, came in from the nail salon and took a shower and then remembered about the dryer. And so all of this started, and this was probably about 7:30, 7:45 on a Friday night. Welcome to home ownership. So I'm in there pulling apart the dryer, and then my husband comes upstairs and he's like, what are you doing? Because I had told him all of this stuff downstairs. I had went back downstairs and told him about the heating element and all that. And so he's looking at me and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm fixing the dryer. He just kind of looks at me like she's lost her mind. And he's like, do you know how to fix a dryer? I was like, no, but YouTube does. So, I'm pretty sure that I can watch a video and figure it out. And he's like, okay. So he kind of looks at me again, but he's like, all right. So he starts helping. So we're in there, we're watching this YouTube video, we're pausing it, we're rewinding it, we're reading the comment. And finally, we get the thing apart. Then the power goes out. And we're sitting here like, oh my gosh, what happened? The power in the whole house goes out. We're like, what happened? Did we cause a power outage? And I'm like, there's no way possible. Everything is unplugged. Come to find out, the power had went out briefly in the whole neighborhood. But yeah. So back to the dryer. So it turns out that it was exactly what Google has said, that the heating element was gone. And mind you, multiple times through this process, trying to take the dryer apart, we wanted to give up because the YouTube video that we were following, it had skipped an important step. It forgot to tell us to unscrew something. And so we almost gave up before we even got the door off of the dryer because we couldn't get it unscrewed due to it not saying in that step that you needed to unscrew 3 more screws. But scrolled down and read through the comments, and that's how we found out that we needed to take the other 3 screws out. So now the man in the video, he's taking out the heating element and showing us what it should look like. And if it is in fact burnt, what it'll look like if it's burnt, if it's not burnt. So we pull ours out off of Amazon for about $60 instead of taking the heating element apart, buying just the part that needed to be replaced and then putting that in and trying to put all that back together. So I was like, okay, I'm going to save myself some of the headache here and we're just going to go buy the whole unit to replace it. So I head over to my other bestie, Amazon, and I order it and it said it'd be there on Sunday. So I'm like, okay, cool. We can go 2 days without a dryer. So Sunday comes, the part arrives, and I'm like, okay, my plan was to watch football and then fix the dryer. But I ended up not watching football. Whole nother story for a whole nother time. And so I go back to the video and I'm pausing the video. I'm rewinding the video. I'm fast forwarding. I'm reading comments in case there's another step or something that the man has missed and forgot to tell us. My hands are getting cut up because there are sharp edges on the inside of the dryer. And so I'm frustrated and I'm annoyed because now I can't get the heating element to stay in place. There's a slot that it was supposed to fit in and I couldn't get it to fit in there. And then when I finally did get it to fit in there, I had to get the the support beam in there to hold it up. And on the support beam, there are 2 screws that you have to do by feel because you can't see them because they're on the back end of it. So there were so many times that I wanted to give up. Like, I dropped the F-bomb just so many times. And I screamed out in frustration. I screamed out in annoyance. I screamed out because I had cut myself. But never once did I give up. And I know at this point, y'all are like, okay, Angel, cool, you fixed the dryer. But what does this have to do with entrepreneurship? And it has everything to do with entrepreneurship. Because being an entrepreneur is about the unknown. Going into trying to fix the dryer, I was going in blind. Like, yes, I had consulted Google. Yes, I had the YouTube video, but I was still blind. I had no clue what I was supposed to be doing. And that's the same with entrepreneurship. Like, you're not going to know everything that you need to do or that you should do. And so often when something breaks or it isn't working right, we feel the need to just throw it away and just to start fresh. Like in our case, we were just going to go out and get a new dryer. But when in reality, we need to take the time to assess the situation and see if and how we can fix it. So let's say that we did decide to go out and get another dryer. We would have had to make the time to go shopping. And I think we had several things planned we had like a couple of things planned for that Saturday. So we really didn't have time on that Saturday to go shopping. Then we would have had to compare washer dryers because we're not just going to go to one place. So we probably would have went to 2 or 3 places, comparing washers and dryers, seeing who has the best deal, seeing which ones we like, all of that. Because a washer and dryer is just not something that I want to buy offline. I want to go look at it. Then we would have had to wait for them to tell us. They would have had to tell us when their next available delivery date was. So then we would have had to wait for that. Then someone would have had to take off work to make sure that we were available for the delivery, because I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't have been on, one of the days that we were home. So we had to wait for that. So buying that new dryer would have cost us so much more than the $700-800 that we would have had to pay out of pocket. And it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. Every time you start over, instead of trying to figure out and fix the problem, you cost yourself and your business money, time, and energy. And oftentimes those are things that we just don't have. And if we do have them, we don't have a lot to spare. So think about how much it's costing you every time you quit without assessing the situation. And every time you have to start over, think about how much progress you've lost in that time. Again, with the dryer, like, I was so frustrated. I was so annoyed. I had never fixed a dryer before. Like, that was just not in my wheelhouse. I mean, we barely have tools in our house. Luckily, we had the Phillips head and the flathead screwdriver, which was all we needed. But if it had required anything else, we wouldn't have had the tools to do that. And it probably would have just been easier for us to go out and buy a new dryer. We would have just felt like it was easier for us to go out and buy that new dryer versus paying the $10-15 to go get the proper tools that we needed. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and look at it and say, okay, how can I fix this? How can I save myself time? How can I save myself money? How can I save myself energy? What could be done? And sometimes it is just a quick Google search to see, oh, okay, instead of going left, I should have went right. Instead of going out to buy a new dryer, I can just replace the heating element. I can save myself a lot of money. So don't be so quick to give up on something that you invested in. Yes, it's tough. Yes, you may get cut up. Yes, you may have to pause, rewind, fast forward, read the comments, yell. But pause. Don't quit. Like, just don't quit. Take a minute to regroup yourself. Take a minute to refocus. Take a minute to pray about it so that you can get through it and that you can make it work. Entrepreneurship is scary. Fixing a dryer was scary, but I got through it. Again, never once when I was trying to fix this dryer did I say, you know what, I'm done. I quit. I walk away from it. So if I was willing to not give up on this dryer that we could have gone out and replaced, why am I so quick to quit on my business that I've put way more time into, way more effort into, way more of my sweat into? Why? From now on, I'm going to give my business as much effort and as much thought as I did with that dryer. From now on, whenever I am thinking about giving up on my business or anything that goes along with it, I'm going to remember that dryer and remember that I didn't quit on that dryer. And so I'm not going to quit on my business. The song lately by Mary Can't Give Up Now has just been like popping in my head lately. The part that sticks out is the chorus where it says, nobody told me the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far just to leave me. That is just my go-to from now on, is that God didn't bring me this far to leave me. Just like he did not leave me with that dryer. Like, as I said, there was a lot of F-bombs that I dropped when fixing that dryer, but there was a lot of prayer that went into me fixing that dryer as well. If you're feeling stuck in your business, pause, pray, but don't give up.